Hi, this is Krista at The Secret Yarnery. Today we're making this gorgeous loops and bridges border. This is a great border. You're gonna love it. It is very simple stitches, just chains, single crochets, and double crochets the whole way through. We just change our color of yarn to tie in all the yarn that you used in your blanket. It's also very wide. It adds 3 inches on each side of your blanket, so 6 inches to the width and 6 inches to the height. So it's perfect if you have a small blanket or you want to make your blanket a little bit bigger. This is a great way of doing it without using too much yarn. This border can be added to any blanket regardless of the stitch count. We're just going to change how we do our corners. So we're just going to be doing the adjustment for the stitch count when you get close to your corners. So your corners might look like this, or your corners might look like that. But that's where we're going to be doing our adjustment, so don't worry about how many stitches you have going across or how many rows you have going. There are right and left-handed tutorials for this video. I'll link those in the description box down below, as well as a link to the written pattern if you'd like to follow along. The written pattern also includes the pin curl granny baby blanket with the loops and bridges border. So that's all one pattern. So if you'd like to follow along with that, there's a link to it in the description box below. This pattern also has a very nice way of joining along the sides of your blanket. It looks nice and tidy, just as tidy as it does along the top and bottom edge. To make the loops and bridges border, you will need the yarn that you used in your blanket and also some white. If you're making the exact same blanket that I did, I used about 50 grams of all 3 colors and about 70 grams of the white. If you're adding this border to a different blanket, you'll just need some yarn from your blanket, and I always like to put in a little bit of white, or you could also use black, a little bit of neutral, something to spark up and lift those colors that you used in your blanket, and also the same size hook that you used for your blanket. So same yarn, same size hook, and let's get started. Put the border on your pin curl baby blanket. We finished off in this corner here. So we're going to join in on the corner before. So working into the previous corner, I'm going to put my hook straight into the top of that chain 3, just right there. Put your hook in, loop of your new yarn on your hook. I'm using white. Bring it through and slip stitch with both strands to join. Drop your tail and chain 2, 1 and 2. Into this space before that single crochet, 1 single crochet, chain 2. Into the space after that stitch, 1 single crochet, chain 2. Into the space after the stitches, 1 single crochet, chain 2. Into the next space, single crochet, chain 2. We're going to keep going along the whole top of our blanket doing the same thing. 1 single crochet with a chain 2 into every space and just skipping over all of the stitches. So chain 2, skip over all those stitches, 1 single crochet into the next space, chain 2, skip over the 1 stitch and 1 single crochet into the next space. Chain 2, jump over all those stitches, 1 single crochet into the next space, chain 2, jump over that stitch, 1 single crochet into the next space. So that gives us a nice little row to start building our border onto. So keep going like this all the way along, and I'll meet you when we get to the corner. Now we're going to make our corner spot. We're going to go right into that stitch, into that chain, and I want 2 strands of that stitch on the top of my hook. Make 1 single crochet, chain 2, and into the very same stitch, 1 more single crochet. So then when we're working along our blanket in the next row, this chain 2 spot will be our new corner for our border. So now we're going to work along the side of our blanket, so just rotate your work so we can work down the side together. Chain 2, 1, 2. We're just going to work into the bottom, into this big space here. So chain 2 and single crochet into that stitch, chain 2, single crochet into the next stitch, chain 2, single crochet. So it looks like that. It feels a bit tight, like you're thinking, oh, I didn't put enough stitches. Don't worry about it. We want this row to be a bit snug to keep our blanket in shape. And as we are working on it, it will relax. But right now, if it's all kind of curled over and looking questionable, just go with it. So chain 2, 1, 2, into the bottom of the next stitch, 1 single crochet, chain 2, into the bottom of the next stitch, 1 single crochet. So keep going like this all the way down the side of your blanket, and I'll meet you when we get to the next corner. At the end of that side, just work into the same spot that we always have been. Single crochet, chain 2, rotate your work a little bit so we can work down the bottom of our blanket or the next side. And we're going to make this into our corner. So I'm going to make 1 more single crochet into the very same spot. Chain 2, and now we're going to do the same thing that we did along the top. Every space is going to get a single crochet, chain 2, jump, single crochet, chain 2, jump, single crochet, chain 2, jump, single crochet. So we're going to work our way all along the bottom of our blanket like this, making a chain 2, single crochet into the space, chain 2, single crochet into the next space, chain 2, single crochet into the next space, all the way along the bottom of our blanket. So pause the video, keep going on this row, and I'll meet you at the next corner. At the end of this side, we're going to make our corner right into the bottom of this shell here. Just right there, that's going to be our new corner. So I've done my chain 2 into this stitch, 1 single crochet, chain 2, and 1 more single crochet into the same stitch. Chain 2, 1, 2, and then rotate your work so we can work along the next side. Now on this side, we're going to be doing the same thing as we did on the other side, the opposite side. We're going to be building our single crochets into this stitch, the bottom of these double crochets. So right here, 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 all the way along. So we're just doing our regular chain 2, and into that stitch, 1 single crochet, chain 2, into the next stitch, 1 single crochet, chain 2, into the next stitch, 1 single crochet, chain 2, into the next stitch, 1 single crochet, chain 2. So we're going to be working our way up this side, and again, don't worry if it's all curled up and looking really tight. We need something to be holding our blanket shape as it relaxes and it gets used. Keep going like this all the way along this side, and I'll meet you at the next corner. When you reach the next corner, do your chain 2, and we're going to go into the same spot where we joined our yarn. That's going to be our corner for the rest of our border. So into the same stitch where we joined, 1 single crochet, chain 2, 1, 2, and now we're going to slip stitch right in between the legs of our very first stitch, our slip stitch where we joined our yarn. So just put your hook in, bring your yarn back, and slip stitch. Chain 1, into the very same stitch, 1 single crochet, and 2 single crochets into this space. 1 and 2. 1 single crochet into the stitch and 2 into the space. 1, 2, into the stitch, 1, into the space, 2. Into the stitch, 1 single crochet, and into each space 2 single crochets. So 2 single crochets into each space and 1 single crochet into each stitch. So we're going to do this on all sides of our blanket now, all the way along. So keep going, making 1 single crochet into the stitch and 2 single crochets into each space all the way along this side, and I'll meet you at the corner. So getting close to our corner where we have our 2 single crochets into the same space, 1 into the stitch, and now I'm into my corner space right there. So I'm going to do 2 single crochets, 1, 2, a chain 2. I'm holding it open with my finger and thumb. I want to make sure all my stitches are going into the same space, the same stitch, and 2 more single crochets, 1 and 2. And now we're just going to keep going around our entire blanket doing the same thing. 1 single crochet into the stitch, 2 single crochets into each space, and our corners, 2 single crochets, chain 2, and 2 single crochets. So pause the video, keep working your way around, and I will meet you when you get back to where you joined. When you get to your corner, 2 single crochets, 1, 2, into that corner space, chain 2, and 2 more single crochets into that same corner. Now we're going to slip stitch to join just at the top of that first single crochet we made. 1 slip stitch. Chain 1, cut your yarn, leaving a long enough tail to sew in with a needle later. Pull your hook up and your yarn out and snug that down to secure. So I'm going to pick a different corner. I don't want to have all my ends in the same corner. Into that chain 2 corner space where we have our chain 2. So in between those pairs of single crochets in the corner, put your hook in, loop of new yarn on your hook, bring your yarn through and slip stitch with both strands to join. Drop your tail and chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. That counts as our first double crochet and chain 1. If you joined your yarn in a different way, do a chain 4. Now we're going to go around doing 1 double crochet, chain 1, and skip 1. So we're going to skip the next stitch. We're skipping this stitch right here. We're going to work into the second one. So if you're looking from this side, we're skipping the first stitch and going into the second stitch. So wrap your yarn and into the second stitch, 1 double crochet, chain 1, wrap your yarn, skip 1 into the second stitch right here, 1 double crochet, chain 1, skip 1 into the second stitch, 1 double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, 1 double crochet into the second stitch. So we're going to keep going around our blanket, making 1 double crochet, chain 1, skip 1 all the way along, and I'll meet you when we get to the corner. At my corner, I have 2 single crochets before that chain 2 corner space. So I'm just going to do my normal chain 1 and my next double crochet straight into that corner. So this is where we're going to adjust the border to fit any blanket really that we're working on. So double crochet, chain 2, rotate your work a little bit, and 1 more double crochet into that same spot, that same corner space. Chain 1, and now we're going to mirror what we did in the first half of the corner on the second half. So I'm going to skip the same 2 stitches. So wrap your yarn into the third stitch, and this of course is if your blanket, if your corner ended up the same as mine. Yours could have worked out perfectly, but if in case yours didn't, that is how you fix it, just at that corner. So now keep going around and I'll meet you when we get back to where we joined. So back at the corner, I have done my double crochet and chain 1. So wrap your yarn and 1 double crochet into the same stitch where you joined your yarn. Chain 2, 1, and 2. Now we're going to slip stitch into the second chain. So we did our slip stitch, 1, 2, so just here. We want to leave 1 chain in between the double crochet. So we're going to slip stitch into the second chain. Chain 1, cut your yarn, pull your hook up and your yarn down and snug that down to secure. Now pick a different corner. So just put your hook straight into that corner space, loop of your new yarn on your hook, and slip stitch with both strands to join. Drop your tail, chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oh, I'm supposed to be there. Depending on how many stitches you have on the sides of your blanket, your corners can either look like this or they'll look like that. Either one is fine. If you want all your corners to look exactly the same like this, then you would start your loops in the center of this corner here. We started into the first stitch, but you could start straight into the center. Right into the first double crochet after that corner, put your hook inside that stitch, loop of yarn on your hook, bring it through and slip stitch with both strands to join. Drop your tail and chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So skip the next double crochet and make 1 single crochet into the second. So we're just making these loops all the way along our work. Chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Skip a double crochet and 1 single crochet into the second. Chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to skip a double crochet and work into the second with a single crochet. So into the second, 1 single crochet. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip a double crochet, so skip this one, working into the second. You make 1 single crochet into the second stitch. And now keep going along this row, doing the same thing. Chain 5, single crochet into the second stitch, all the way along this side, and I'll meet you at the corner. When you get to your corner, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just work into that corner space. So this is where we're going to adjust our pattern. We're just going to do the same thing on both sides of the corner. So single crochet into the corner space, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, chain 5, and 1 more single crochet into the same corner space. Chain 5 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we just want to mirror what we did before that corner. We skipped this one, and we worked into the next. So I'm going to do the exact same thing on both sides of the corner. And each corner can be a bit different, as long as each side of each corner matches. That is the goal. So chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip a double crochet and go into the second. So 1 single crochet. So now keep going like this all the way around your blanket, and I'll meet you back when we get to where we joined. Back at the corner where we started, we just want to do the same thing we did when we began. I'm going to do my single crochet into this double crochet. Just like that. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and slip stitch right into this first stitch we made. I'm going to slip stitch right into the bottom, and that'll kind of make it look like a single crochet. So right in between those legs of that stitch, slip stitch. Chain 1 and turn your work. Turning our work will help our border lay flat and not curl in one direction or the other. So into each space, we're going to do 7 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And now we're going to jump straight over from our 7th single crochet to the next chain space and make 7 single crochets into the next space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Straight over into the next space, 7 single crochets. So keep going around your blanket, making 7 single crochets into each of these chain spaces all the way around your blanket, and I'll meet you when you get back to where we started. When you get back to where we started this round, we are just going to slip stitch to join. We're finished with this color now. So we're going to slip stitch to right where we joined our yarn. So right in between this stitch, I'm going to go right in between those legs of that stitch and make a slip stitch. Just in the middle of that stitch, and make one little slip stitch, just like that. Chain 1 and cut your yarn. Pull your hook up and your yarn through and snug that down. Turn your work. For the next round, we're just going to join anywhere. So pick a shell somewhere randomly in the middle of your blanket or anywhere. And we want to find the 4th stitch up. We want to be working into the 4th stitch of every shell. So we want to go into the 4th stitch. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. That is the stitch we want to work into. So put your hook into the 4th stitch, loop of your new yarn on your hook, leaving a long enough tail to sew in, bring it through and slip stitch with both strands to join. Drop your tail and chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Into the next shell, we're also going to be going into the 4th stitch. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This one right here. And make 1 single crochet into the 4th stitch of the next shell. So 1 single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Into the 4th chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, into the 4th chain, 1 single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, into the 4th stitch of the next shell, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 single crochet. So pause the video and keep going, making 1 single crochet into the top of our shell and a chain 3 to get to the next one, all the way along, and I'll meet you when we get to the corner. When you get to your corner shell, we're doing the same thing, going into that 4th stitch, making a single crochet and chaining 3, 1, 2, 3. But now go back into that very same stitch and make 1 single crochet. So this will be the new corner for the next round. And chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And now keep going like we were, making 1 single crochet into the 4th stitch, chaining 3 to get to the next one. When you get to your corner, do an extra single crochet into the same stitch. So pause the video and I'll meet you when you get back to where we joined. When you get back to where we joined, we are going to slip stitch straight into this first stitch here. We're going to go right in the center of those legs of that stitch, and we're going to do a slip stitch. So put your hook in and slip stitch. Chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're going to work into the spaces and into the stitches. Our chain 4 counts as our first double crochet and chain 1. So into the next space, wrap your yarn and make 1 double crochet, chain 1, and 1 double crochet into the stitch, chain 1, 1 double crochet into the space, chain 1, 1 double crochet into the stitch, chain 1, 1 double crochet into the space, chain 1, 1 double crochet into the stitch. So we're going to keep going like this, making a double crochet and chain 1, 1 into the stitch, 1 into the space, all the way along this side of our border, and I will meet you at the corner. I've done my chain 1, double crochet into that stitch, chain 1, double crochet into our corner space, chain 2, and double crochet into the same corner space. Chain 1, and double crochet into the single crochet right after, into that same corner space. So that gives us a new corner. Chain 1, and now keep going. 1 double crochet, chain 1 into the space, 1 double crochet and chain 1 into each stitch, going all the way around. And corners get 1 double crochet, a chain 2, and 1 double crochet, all into that same corner space. So pause the video and I'll meet you when you get back to where we started. When you get back to where you started, do your chain 1, and we're going to slip stitch to this chain right here. So the third chain up. We want to leave a chain in the middle like we have been for the whole border. So into the third chain, 1 slip stitch. Chain 1 and cut your yarn. Pull your hook up and your yarn through and snug that down. Put your hook into any space, loop of new yarn on your hook, bring it through and slip stitch with both strands to join. Drop your tail and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Single crochet into the same space. Into the next space, single crochet, chain 3, and single crochet. Jump straight over to the next space, 1 single crochet, chain 3, and 1 single crochet. So each space is going to get a single crochet, a chain 3, and a single crochet, jumping straight over into the next space and doing the same thing. So jump to the next space, single crochet, chain 3, and single crochet. Next space, single crochet, chain 3, and single crochet. So keep going like this all the way until you reach your corner. Into your corner space, 1 single crochet, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to turn this into a little picot. To make a picot, we're going to put our hook back down into that stitch and grab that front loop and also this loop at the bottom. So we're going to grab both of those loops. So poke your hook in, grabbing both of those loops, and make 1 slip stitch. And single crochet into the same space. And jump straight into the next space, 1 single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1 single crochet. So our work will look like this. Keep going along, doing 1 single crochet, a chain 3, and 1 single crochet into each space, jumping straight over into the next space and doing the same thing. And corners will be a chain 5 with a picot, just to hold it into that cute little shape. So keep going and I'll meet you when you get back to where we joined. When you get back to where we started, we're going to slip stitch again right in between the legs of that very first stitch. So just push your hook in and slip stitch. Chain 1 and cut your yarn. Pull your hook up and your yarn through and snug that down to secure. Sew in your tails and you're finished. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'd love to see yours. You can find me over on these social media platforms. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. Love to see how yours turned out. If you haven't subscribed to this channel already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on any awesome, quick, fast, and easy tutorials just like this. Thanks so much for hooking along. We'll see you in the next video, and stay hooked.